So welcome to Blazing Gamer, and in this fourth episode of the Java tutorial series, we'll be going over control statements, namely the if-else statement. But before we go over the if-else statement, there's one more thing that I need to tell you, that's precedence of operators. So precedence of operators is basically if there are two operators together, like if I type 1 plus 2 multiplied by 3. So which of these operators will operate first, that is decided by precedence. So if I just bring the table here and go to full screen, as you can see, you can easily find the precedence table for Java if you Google it, but most of the languages usually have the same precedence except if they have any other operators. So as you can see, these are the operators, and the higher the operator is in this table, the higher would be its precedence. So therefore, the multiplication operator is above addition operator. So the multiplication operator will operate first before addition. So the result will be 7. 3 into 6 plus 1. And that's basically how the precedence table works. As you can see, at the top we have parentheses, so if we want addition to take place first, we can envelop 1 plus 2 in the brackets, and then the 1 plus 2 will take first, so 3 into 3 and 9 would be the answers. So you don't need to memorize the precedence table, but you should have a knowledge that you should know that some operators will precede before, like the dot operator, for example. Or if you're getting any weird errors in the output, then just check the precedence. If you are expecting addition to happen first but multiplication is happening first, so precedence table you should just keep in mind. So let's get to the if statements. Let's just close this. So if statements are known as the flow control statements or branching statements. So basically in if statements, depending upon the condition defined in the if statements, the program's execution will go either in the if statement or out of the if statement. So if I just type the basic structure of an if statement, as you can see, this would be the basic structure of the if statement. In these parentheses, we can add an expression, and keep in mind the result of this expression should be a Boolean value, either true or false. And depending upon whether it's true or false, the contents of the if statement will be executed. If it's true, the contents inside these brackets would be executed. If it's false, this would be skipped. So Boolean expressions can be easily made with any Boolean logical operators, like if I can write 3 less than 5. So this would be always true because 3 would be always less than 5. So this is how Boolean expressions can be made. And like if I define two ints equal to 5 and b equal to 5. So if I need to compare the values of two variables or a variable with any constant, I need to do a equals b. Now keep in mind you have to put two equals, that is the equality operator. If you put a single equal sign, that is assignment operator, and assignment operator doesn't produce a Boolean result. So there are many Boolean operators. There's the equal operator, the less than operator, the greater than operator, less than equal to, greater than equal to, and you may even have methods that return a Boolean result, which we would go over in the future when we discuss methods. So if I write something like this, a equals 5, and just print something here, just print hello for simplicity's sake, and I just run this, and just building. And as you can see, hello is printed because a is equals 5. And if I write something like 6, now a won't be equal to 6, and as you can see, nothing is printed as this if statement isn't validated, so it just jumps the execution of this print line. Now with if statements, there is another thing that's paired, that's called the else statement, else keyword. So else also has a similar structure, it just doesn't take the condition, and else can only be used if there is a if above it. So if the condition of if comes out as false, then the else will be executed. Just right here. Okay, and we'll just build this, and you can see by is printed because that's what's in the else part. Now there's more to if statements. If you want, like, you can also add an if after an else. So we can do if, so this would be read as let's do b equals 5, and we'll do another else. So this whole block is read as if a equal to 6, then do this, else if b equals to 5, then do this, else you do this. So you can have any number of else if, but the first one needs to be an if, then you can have any number of else ifs, and the last needs to be an else. Now this else isn't compulsory. If you do want to do something in the case that these conditions fails, then only use this, but you can simply have a single if also, but you can't have a single else if, because else if can only come after an if, and else can also only come after an if. So this is basically the control statements. As you can see, depending upon the condition, the control or execution of the program is decided. Another thing that can be done is nested if statements. That basically means that I can put if statements inside an if statement, and as you can just press enter. So we can have here b equals 5. So in this case, first this condition will be checked, then this condition will be checked, and if both will be true, the code here will be executed. And I can just put an else here also, and I can have some other code here. Let's just add some comments for that. So if the first if is validated, then I'm inside the scope of these brackets. If let's just remove else for the example. So the thing is, if the first if is validated, then we come inside the scope, and if the second if is not validated, then we don't execute this part, but this part will be executed. So just for testing sake, we'll just do this, and this. Now you may guess what will be printed. I should have changed these two because they're just same, so I'll just put two O's here. As you can see, yo is printed. So if we go inside an if statement, everything inside it would be executed, and you can basically have nested ifs and all. Another thing you can do with this if statement is bind two conditions together. Like, rather than, if we don't need to do anything separately, if b is equal to 6, then we can basically put these two conditions in the same bracket. So I'll just copy this and I'll just do this and see. So I missed b. So this double and % sign is the logical and operator. So what this basically does, it says that this side of the and logical and operator and this side of if both will be true, then only the if statement will be validated as true. It's basically a Boolean algebra, and Boolean algebra, if you have the AND gate, so both the inputs need to be 1 for the output to be 1. So that's what basically the double AND operator stands for, also called as the logical AND. It just needs that both these statements need to be true. Another thing would be the logical OR operator. Now I get these standing lines from pressing the shift and the button above the enter on my keyboard. I don't know what's called, but these two standing lines stand for the logical OR operator, which states that if any one of these two expressions is true, the result of the whole expression will be true. Now these can be further nested by using more brackets, like if I just create another variable int c equals 3, we can do this if a equals to 5, or just do another bracket, b equals 5 and c equals 3. So this will be read as you know, the precedence of parentheses is more than any other thing, so the expression within the parentheses will be evaluated first. So b equal to 5 and c equal to 3, so that result will be stored in this place, whatever it may be, and in this case it would be true. So it would be a equal to 5 or true, and since in our statements there's already a one true, so the whole expression will be true. But in this case all of these expressions produce the result true. So sometimes you don't need to check when the OR operator is used. Sometimes the compiler doesn't check. If the first expression is true, the compiler doesn't check the second expression, because there's no need to check the expression, because for OR, if any one of them is true, the whole statement is true. So there's not much more to the control statement if and else. You can create many complicated flow of programs using this, and you can really do some interactive programs also. This, like, you can define many variables, and depending upon their conditions you can print different stuff, and this will be used a lot when you do more complex programming, and you may have many methods inside these returning Boolean values, and depending upon that some of the things may be executed. So if else, I know it's quite easy, but these are the basics of programming. So in the next episode we'll be going over another control statement, which is the switch case statement. You may not use switch case quite often, but it's really useful to know about that. So thanks for watching. Please do leave a like if you find it useful. Any reviews that you want to leave, please leave it in the comments, and please subscribe if you want to be updated on more videos. Thank you.